I'm back today in my new series, Baby Must-Haves, and today we're going to talk about Baby Must-Haves feeding time. This is something that I've been working on a lot as my baby is now 9.5 months, so we're full into the feeding of solids and experimenting with different foods in a nice and safe, healthy way so that he doesn't choke or give me anxiety when he's eating. So I have a few things just to help you guys get started. I don't think you need a lot. I also have some footage that I'll show you of Theo eating, and I think I'll show you that now so you can see what I'm talking about. Theo, what do you have? So Theo's in his high chair, an essential for feeding in my opinion, place where they're not going to escape. This one is just a very easy to clean high chair from IKEA, very inexpensive, and it comes with the cushion that he's wearing at the back, but you don't need that. It also comes with a lap strap that I encourage you to strap them in with. And then another essential for feeding, which my nanny told me about, is this bib that he's wearing. So instead of just wearing a normal bib that covers the front of him, this one actually goes all the way down his body, and you tie him at the back, so it really protects his clothes. And then just examples of what he's eating: banana with some almond butter. He's got a little wooden spoon that he can feed himself with or lick, or we just feed him with it. Some oatmeal and flaxseed that's kind of been bunched. Oh, okay, you need some more. And then some papaya and some kiwi fruit. And I think the oatmeal has a lot of date just to sweeten it up a little bit, but I don't know if he'll actually eat it. And then we're gonna give him some quinoa cereal with yogurt and breast milk as his primary breakfast. And that's kind of what breakfast looks like for us. And then we have a little friend right there. Yeah. Okay, so in that video you saw him in his high chair. Obviously you can get any kind of high chair that you like. As I said in the footage, I would really encourage you to get something with a strap because babies can fall out of the high chair. It's not something you really want to leave them unattended with, but if you turned your back you want to make sure that they're safe. Another thing that has really helped us, and something that I take with us wherever we go, when I think he's going to be eating, so anywhere we go, is something that he's wearing in that video, which is this bib or apron, I guess. This one is by Bumkins, and it's a really nice waterproof material. It dries really quickly. You can just hand wash it after meals, and then let it dry, and it'll be dry by the time you need to use it again. And it has long sleeves that covers them completely, and then like a little tie at the back. You could get maybe one or two. They come in a million different designs and colors, so it's kind of fun. And they are made out of the same waterproof material that you would have over a waterproof cover if you cloth diapered, so it's that kind of aprony feeling. And then once you don't need them anymore, you could actually use them as art aprons as the kids get bigger. I will link this down below and you can have a look at all the different designs. It's really awesome. I think like high chair number 1, apron number 2. Then you'll also see Theo is using little wooden spoons. We use this, I use this to feed him pureed foods or runny type of foods such as yogurt or cereal or something. And he can also use it to feed himself, and he can lick off the spoon or whatever. Another useful, perhaps not essential item that I've found helpful, especially now that he's teething a lot, are these little mesh feeders. And this one I've actually put raspberries in, and then I freeze it in the freezer, and then he kind of like sucks on them. It helps relieve his gums a little bit, but you can also use it to introduce new tastes and textures without feeling like your child might choke. So if you didn't want to, for example, peel a tomato or whatever, but you wanted your child to get used to the taste, you could put one in there and then they can suck it and experiment with it. Another thing that might be helpful is introducing water into your baby's diet. I found this little Thermos stainless steel bottle super useful and so cute. It has a little straw, everything detaches so you can actually clean it, so the straw comes right out of the plastic container. This one is stainless steel, so maybe better than having their water in plastic all the time. It's by Thermos, but it's called Fugo. I'll also link it down below, also quite inexpensive. And if I can find footage of Theo drinking, it's super cute to watch him drinking out of a straw. And I was also very impressed that he could drink out of a straw at quite a young age. I think we started doing this at around 7 or 8 months, and it definitely makes drinking easier. He loves drinking out of an actual glass container or a cup, but if you wanted to dedicate something just for them instead of a sippy cup, this is another alternative. Then something else that I found really helpful is having little containers, which you probably have already, but what I found with introducing food to Theo is that we would cut up a tomato or an avocado and he eats like a 16th of it, and then what do you do with it? So having these little containers, these are little glass ones with lids that allow it to be completely non-stick, and they come in all different sizes. You can get them all over the place. This one is a Weangreen brand, but I think they all just different kinds. We have some soft cooked carrots in here, little medallions, but then you can keep your food in an airtight container so that you don't waste so much, because that's what I was finding. You cut an apple, he's only going to have a tiny little bit, and then you don't want it to go off or brown or whatever, so you need to store it in something that'll keep for a few days. I've also been using these Lunchskins bags that I spoke about in a favorites video that I did, that I'll link below. These are awesome because you can take them on the go. I actually have, this would be instead of like a Ziploc bag, but they're reusable and you wash them. I have these, I just bought these recently, these organic teething wafers by Little Yums. This one is spinach, apple and kale, which sounds a bit but they actually smell really nice, and Theo really loves them, and you can hold them and they dissolve, so they're not a choking hazard per se. They come in a box like this. This is what they look like. So if you needed something while you were getting their food ready, you could give them one of those, or you give them a teething ring. And then the last thing that I wanted to speak about with regards to feeding essentials is if you are trying to encourage your child to eat more and you're not sure if they're actually eating anything because they're just picking up pieces of food and you're not really sure if it's actually being ingested, is maybe to consider some kind of food base. And I spoke about it in the clip very quickly, but I've been giving him quinoa baby cereal. So the common idea was always to give babies rice cereal, but there's not a lot of nutrition in rice. It's just a sort of empty carb, although it does provide calories, so there may be some times when it's appropriate. But this is a quinoa cereal that I sometimes mix you could mix it with anything because it's not necessarily just for breakfast, but I put a little bit of milk, with breast milk with it, and then some, or you could use water if you needed to thin it out, and then some yogurt, and then you could add in whatever else you wanted for the baby to eat, and then you know that they're getting a certain amount of really good nutrition. Quinoa is all protein, so instead of it's a really great way for them to be eating something to fill them up. But in the beginning they just take the food and they might mouth it and then they throw it on the floor, or they don't want it anymore. It takes a long time to get used to those tastes. So with the cereal or any kind of pureed food, but if you want to do something to make it a little bit more heartier, you add some protein. It's a really nice way to get that into them and know that they're eating a little bit, and Theo absolutely loves it. I think he would just eat it plain if he could, but you can add all sorts of things. Hummus has been a big favorite recently, so quinoa and hummus and avocado, that could be a meal that you would have. It's just in an easier form to give. But yeah, I can do a whole video on baby-led weaning and what foods to introduce next. If anyone would like me to, let me know in the comments. It's a whole thing and very controversial and also very personal to your family and what you guys like to eat. So I hope this video is helpful when starting to introduce your child to solid foods. Obviously make sure that your doctor is recommending it at whatever age. Doctors recommend feeding babies at different ages depending on the doctor and the baby, so check with them first. But that's some of the essential gear that I found really helpful. You don't need to spend a lot of money, and you can start experimenting and really enjoy learning how, or enjoy seeing how your child starts to interact with food, because ultimately we want them to have a healthy relationship with food and enjoy their meal times. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe and thumbs up this video if you liked it, and I will see you soon. Bye! Brrr.